Welcome to the Friday Fraudster podcast. Join them as they discuss sad, funny, and sometimes disturbing fraud stories. Be sure to catch past episodes on your favorite podcasting platform or go to www.fridayfraudster.com and grab some CPE while you're there.
Hey, welcome friends to another episode of the Friday Fraudster. This is episode number 117. Can you believe it? Because I cannot. And now this is going to be another fun-filled episode, so hang on tight. But before we get started, you know I have some special guests today too. But before we get started, here's what I want to do. I want to invite you guys to come to the next episodes of my other podcast, Audit Bites. On October the 10th, we're going to talk about how to stop auditing after the fact. On October the 24th, we're going to talk about board governance gone wrong. And on November the 7th, we're going to talk about why communication skills are important for internal auditors. And if you hadn't guessed, I am live on location again. I'm at another conference where I just did a keynote speech yesterday, which reminds me, if you need a kick butt keynote speaker, you know who to call. If you need an audit trainer, you know who to call. And if you weren't sure who to call, that would be me. That's kind of why I said it. So my friends, I feel like you all are my family now. So I am going to bring on more family, more friends of the show. This week, I've got with me my man Alaba from Nigeria, and I've got Christine. You all know Christine by now.
Hopefully.
So, why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Ladies first.
I'm sorry.
Auditor by trade. I've been working in the financial sector for 20 plus years now, auditing for over 10. Enjoy auditing, enjoy talking about fraud. That's
Alaba,
it.
my man, who are you?
Yeah, I'm not new to Robert, and I feel many people will also know me by now. I'm just Alaba, and I like talking about internal auditing, and basically at the basics level. So I only want to share ideas about internal auditing and how people can learn better about internal auditing. So my area is just talking about ABC to Z of internal auditing. Thank you very much, Albie.
Now, don't be modest here, because one of your specialties is actually teaching people how to pass the certified internal auditor examination. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm
All
just
right.
thinking about not using your platform for promotion.
Look, we bring on people so that they can promote themselves and so that we can have an actual good show too. So if you are studying for the CIA examination and you need somebody to help you pass it, this is the man to call.
Yeah, thank you, Albie. Really appreciate that.
Hey man, it's all about sharing here. Sharing is caring. You know what? Let's go to our audience though. We've got Shri here. Hey Shri, we got Michael here again. Good afternoon, sir. And my man Clarence. Clarence, I'm gonna order your t-shirt for you today, man. I got your email with what size you want. Clarence won a t-shirt from last week's episode. Carol is here again, my friend Carol. Good to see you as always. So here's what I'm gonna tell you all. We're giving away t-shirts again today. And if you not no, I'm sorry, we're giving away books today. We're giving away my book, Ask Better Questions, Get Better Answers, Perform Better Audits. And if you would like to be put in the drawing to win that book, I want you to drop the hashtag that audit guy into the chat, and we have a bot that is going to randomly choose a winner. Now, I just copied and pasted it into the chat for you so that you know what to put in. Hashtag that audit guy. And I actually did start the magic thing that I needed to start this week. So no mistakes this week on that. And Emily is here. Em, what's going on? If you don't know who Em is, you need to get to know her. She's a fabulous auditor. She also teaches a class in internal auditing at, I forgot the university. I actually spoke to her university before, and I've forgotten the name of the university. My man Jim is here. Jim, how you doing, man? We need to catch up at some point in time soon. So, today, my friends, a question for you all, for everyone, and specifically for my two guest co-hosts, I want to know, have any of you all either served in the military or have you had family members that have served in the military? Have you ever served in the military, or do you have any family members that have ever served in the military? That's my question today. What about you, Christine?
I have not. My uncle has. My sister's father-in-law has. I know I'm missing a couple of people, but pretty much after my mom and dad's generation in our family, I don't have anybody that has served.
What about you, Alaba?
No, as far as I know, there is no. We have no history in the military service so far.
You know what, you guys? Today, I've got another surprise before we go on with today's program. I've got a special guest here with me today. Anybody
A
want to
third one?
guess? Never mind.
Oh, hey, Joe.
Joe. So
Wow.
Joe and I are sitting here at a conference in Denver, and Joe is going to be the keynote speaker this afternoon at the conference.
Yeah,
Oh,
big
they're
time.
lucky. They're lucky.
That's
You
what
know,
I said.
They literally
Wish you all the
just
best,
told
Joe.
me, they literally just
Wish you
told
all
me
the-
that I was the poor person that had to end the day with ethics. Actually, they didn't say person; they used a bad word.
Wait a minute. It gets worse than that then, because I started off the conference with the morning keynote yesterday on cryptocurrency. So they told me, you got to start the day with crypto.
Yeah. Well, and I'm ending it with technology ethics, so it's kind of very fitting that you started that way. And I get to end it. So
You make
I just wanted to
ethics.
say hi because
You
I
make
don't wanna
ethics
interrupt.
talk fun, though, Joe.
Yes,
You
that's
do.
true. I will keep them awake. I promise.
So listen, though, I think this is Carol. Carol is saying, hey to you. Let me cheat and see who this is. Yeah, that's Carol. Carol Lyman. You know Carol?
Yes,
Yeah.
I know Carol. Hi, Carol. Actually, Carol lives real close to me here.
What?
So, yeah.
Wait a minute. Why, Carol? Why are you not at this conference then? That's the question I. Why are you not here?
Yeah. Well,
Why?
because nobody knew you were coming. Probably you gotta publicize these events.
Oh, you mean they would have come had they known I were here?
Yeah,
I
probably.
think they come because they know you're here.
No, they're getting tired of me. I've been at this conference a lot.
Well, this is my first one, so maybe they'll bring me back.
They will.
I don't think they like me.
No, whatever. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go have lunch, but you guys have fun with Rob.
Wait, you get to eat?
Yeah, you
didn't
had
get
lunch already.
No, I didn't. Have lunch. They don't feed me.
Oh, whatever.
All right. So, check this out, you guys. We've got Richard Fowler, Navy vet. Hey, we thank you for your service, man. We really do.
Richard's gonna get hot with this one then.
Yeah, Richard's gonna be real hot with this one. Emily says hello too. Wait a minute. Wait, Carol said, oh, Carol, your boss is here. Oh, ooh. So Carol, ask your boss what she thought about the morning keynote speech I did on crypto. If he or she liked it, then yeah, I'm a fantastic presenter. If they didn't like it, then it wasn't me. It was somebody else. It was my clone, my body doubles. All right. So look. So my family is full of military vets. My dad served 20 years in the U.S. Air Force. Then he retired, and then he worked for them as a civilian contractor for another 17 or 18 years. My uncle, my dad's brother, served in the Air Force as well, and my other uncle by marriage served in the Air Force as well and did 20 years and retired. So, yeah, you're right, Christine. This story is going to make quite a few people upset, especially those who understand the sacrifice and the importance of serving in the military. No matter what your country is, you want to defend the freedom and the rights of the citizens in your country. What do you guys think about that?
The floor is open for your question first. I already said that earlier, so I'm waiting for you. After you.
Christine is just like, she's trying to hold it in. She doesn't want to go in just yet because we hadn't talked about the story, but Christine's a little angry.
You know, we have a very
I
good
always
president.
do. I get angry with all this stuff. I guess the stuff people do for the little amounts of money, and then how many people can get involved on this one just shocks me.
Yeah. All right. So let's just dive in then. So in the US, when you serve in the military, when you die, there's something that happens at your funeral that shows appreciation for your service. The National Defense Authorization Act of 2000 authorizes military funerals for active duty soldiers, retirees, and for veterans. And what happens is, at the request of the family, eligible persons can receive a military honor at their funeral. And what it is it includes things like they'll come to the funeral, they'll fold the flag up for you, they'll drape your coffin with the flag, and then they'll play a ceremonial song. In our case, it's a song called Taps, and they'll play it at your funeral. And sometimes you'll get what's called a 21 gun salute, where soldiers will fire their guns in the air in remembrance of you serving in the military and defending your country. I think that's an honorable way to honor people, and I've seen it several times in my lifetime. My grandfather also served in the military. I forgot to mention that one. That was the first time I saw it, was at his funeral. Brought a tear to my eye, really did. So that's something that happens, and every country has something similar, or most countries has something similar for their military veterans. And that's why today's story was so disturbing. Now, Richard says they play taps, sometimes even a regular burglar, mostly played with a recording, regular bugle. Sorry, that's what that's supposed to say. Sometimes with a recording inside the bugle. Yeah, I've only seen it done once where it was somebody actually playing the trumpet live. The other times it was a recording inside the bugle and it played taps for you. So in today's story, several military officers have been indicted for stealing money. And what they would do is they would submit expense reimbursements for doing the military honors at the funeral. However, those funerals didn't exist. They submitted false documentation to take credit for playing taps at the funeral, for folding the flag in a ceremonial manner, because military officers get paid to do that. So these people fraudulently said that they had done it when they had not done it. What do you guys think about that?
It's just heartless. Like, I think that's the thing that just like perturbs me the most about it is you've got these people like, and Richard, you can probably agree with me. When you serve with these people in your infantry or whatever, that's a whole new family. That's a whole new bond that you have. And just the thought of losing somebody that you served with, you trusted your life with, you learned a lot, like you spent more time with them than your family, and people have lost individuals like that. And to sit here and think, oh, I'm just going to take advantage of this. To me, it's extremely, it makes me really mad, if you can tell.
Yep.
It's just, it takes it to a whole new level. It's not, I mean, I understand insurance fraud is bad and everything else, but this is just a different level of disgrace, in my opinion.
I'm with you. What say you, Alaba?
I think they just British the brotherhood. You know, they know the sacrifices that these people made during their lifetime for the country, for all of them, and they have been part of the struggle. They have been part of the fight to defend the country or the borders of the country. And for that reason, in my opinion, they chose to betray the brotherhood because they have been connected to what made all of these people servicemen or veterans. So doing that, doing unethical thing like that means that is betrayal, in my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So my man Mike Hurst is here and he says, stealing is wrong, but wait, on my mind. Did these military families have somebody to bestow honors at the funeral, or were they just left high and dry? So, Mike, from what we understand, based on everything we've seen, is these funerals never even happened. There were 7 individuals, and one person submitted fraudulent documents purporting to perform services. They didn't even notate where the services were performed, who they performed the services for. And their supervisor was in on it too and approved the documentation and then sent it up the chain so that they could get paid. So like I said, there were 7 people, and now here are the total amounts that they supposedly stole. Person number one, $18,000. Person number two, $15,000. Person number three, $11,000. The next person, $8,000. The next person, 11. The next person, 13, and the final person, $22,000.
And the thing that kills me about it, because it was O'Connor that was the boss, right? That was signing off on it. Or was that Derek?
I think it was O'Connor.
So O'Connor was creating these, signing off on them, and then he would give it to one of the other 6, and he's like, just pay me a little cut to the side. So he was running the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, is the ringleader, and I think is the one that chose to to betray the brotherhood. Then is also the one that decided to collude to weaken or circumvent the control system that they had in place, because he understood what it should be. And that control is there for authorization to occur, who should do this. But he knew what to do, and he knew which area of this control system, at what point of the control system that fraud will be done. And he did it. And he's making a lot of money from it. And I think it's disgraceful.
Yeah. Now, one thing I was trying to find and I couldn't find was how much per funeral did they get paid, because these dollar amounts, the total dollar amounts aren't that large. And so they did it for several different funerals, and I was trying to find the amount per. But you're right, Alaba. They found a weakness in the control system, and a person in charge said, I'm going to exploit this weakness in the control system. But the one thing that disturbed me was the lack of documentation. Because the articles I read said, again, they didn't say, I performed this service at this funeral for this person in this location on this date. So the bare minimum you would expect to see wasn't there, which should have given you a red flag. And so now Emily asked the question, how long was the fraud going on? How long was the fraud going on? Oh, you know what? I had it in my notes.
I think it's
and now
between
I just
2013 and 2016. Between 2013 and 2016.
Okay, good.
Like 3 years.
Wow.
3 years. This kind of fraud although we are looking at the amounts, not huge dollar amounts at the end. I mean the approximate amounts that they show. But the issue is that if they had chances to make more than that, they would have used that opportunity, the weakness they found in the system. And the major concern that I have on this case is that the transaction did not end at Christopher's O'Connor's table. It's going to another place. And I don't know what happened at this place, why they didn't see that it was not authorized. Because based on the allegation, there was an authorization that was not done by social person. And the next level that this transaction goes to, what are they doing there? What happened there? Are they also part of the 7 people who did this fraud? That's my concern.
Yeah, and I agree with your point, because there's a certain level where the approval took place, but then once it got to the accounts payable department, they should have at least looked and said, wait a minute, this documentation is incomplete. I see a signature, but I don't see anything else giving critical details. I'm with you. Even though they colluded, there should have been another point where somebody questioned it.
Yeah,
Well,
because according to what we are seeing here, there's a very important control that is missing here. Based on the article, a soldier supervisor must approve the soldiers' participation in the funeral. So before we can talk about payment, authorizing payment, there is one approver who approved the soldiers to go for the funerals. And is that part of the documentation for that transaction will be the question. So I'm believing that the issue is not ending at those the 7 people's tables. Thank you.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, because ideally when somebody performs an additional service, it is another line item, right, on their payroll record saying, hey, they work these hours doing this particular thing. So to your point, I'm guessing that this didn't necessarily run through payroll. It ran through accounts payable. So it didn't show up. And to your point, a supervisor was supposed to approve the time. But if it didn't run through payroll, how could a supervisor approve the time? It was just another expense reimbursement, or an expense, not even a reimbursement. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, and I definitely, because looking at some of the comments, this might have not necessarily been a complete breakdown of controls. It was a breakdown of behavior. So the control is person gets requested, manager's supposed to look, manager's supposed to prove it. Think about it, it's no different than our corporate credit card expense reimbursement, stuff like that. And then that's supposed to go through AP. I do think there would have been a better control in place, because my assumption, I can be told wrong, but if you have a veteran that passes away, the family would notify, because you have the chance of being buried at specific cemeteries. Why don't they set that up with the local UAW or one of like the Lions clubs where the veterans are at, that they would have those services there to offer, rather than, I mean, how, I guess I just kind of sit here and go, how did you find this random person who's going to take this documentation, unless you would go through some sort of a company or a group that offers it where they can get reimbursed?
That's another good point. Now, Michael says, uncovering fraud is difficult when there is collusion, just another layer of the onion that needs to be peeled back. And Emily asked a really good question. Was there also time theft when they were supposed to be at the funerals? And I think that's what we kind of were addressing here, Em. I don't think they got paid for the time. I think it was per occurrence. And so a flat fee per occurrence. And so they ran it through AP instead of time. Yeah, that's. And Jim says, my understanding is government processes and systems are archaic. I think that's an understatement.
Well, in every single, it's not like all these individuals were in different states. They all live in New Orleans. Like, how many of those, I mean, I guess it was over a 3-year period. But I did also find out, this is another thing that just hits me. 2 of them were police officers.
Yes. Let's talk about that in just 1 minute. But are you Wasagan? Hopefully I said that right. I try.
Oluwasegun.
Oh, I was close. Thank you. I was close. Hell yeah, man. I'm getting better at nailing. Yeah, I see. He said there was collusion by relevant members of the organization who could have prevented the fraud. Yeah. Yeah, they could have. They really could have. And Richard's right. Many veterans, they do want to be buried with their families, and those can be any cemetery. So yeah, Yeah.
And I did ask, do they still notify somebody within their respective service departments? Do you kind of notify them?
Oh, is that you?
Anything like that where they would give that option? Because I'm sitting here thinking about like a lot of times they have the flag folding where they give the family the flag at the funeral and stuff like that. So even if it is at a private cemetery, it's almost like they would take care of that portion of it for you to not have to burden the family with it.
And they do, because I'll tell you, with my grandfather, all we did was we called a number. We got a number. We found a number from somewhere. We called a local number, and they just said, tell us what time to show up. And literally, we didn't have to do anything else. They brought the flag. The guy came with his trumpet. He asked a few questions, and he just went to work. He knew exactly what to do. They made it seamless. And it was very seamless and very respectful and thoughtful and honorable. And I appreciated it.
I think the activity started when the family of the veteran requested for that honor, and from there, what we can also talk about is the fact that there's a policy that says even if you want to be part of that funeral service, your supervisor should first approve. So something started from somewhere. And later, my concern is that if what they started with in that process, they didn't end with the same document. They didn't end with evidence of how it started. And I think the AP people, there's an issue with that AP process. That's my problem. Because there must be documentation requirements for them to make payments. And if they understand how the event started, events that brought the transaction to their table started, then there should be questions. Because I don't just believe that this fraud was discovered by accident or somebody blew the whistle. I don't know. Something happened. Maybe one of those things happened.
Yeah. And yeah, agreed. Breakdown of behavior and not a breakdown of control. Yeah, even with some of the best controls in place, sometimes you can't control people's behavior.
And that's what we talk about: control environment, integrity, and ethical value of the people who are responsible for the control. This is about integrity. This is about ethical value. So regardless of regardless of the controls that you have in place, you still have people to run those systems. And if the people chose to break down the system, so be it. There's nothing you can do.
Right.
Well, and back to Christine's earlier comment, 2 of them were New Orleans police officers, and the other 5 were service members, and 1 was actually a New Orleans police detective. So beyond just a police officer, I don't want to say just, that sounds condescending. Beyond a police officer, this person was a detective in the New Orleans Police Department. And if you all give me just 1 second, we will pop up an actual. So these are our people here, 2 of them. The indicted New Orleans police officer and the detective, Chantel Davis and Linnea Sanders. So,
there's something we didn't talk about, which is that these guys are reservists. Yeah, they also have another job they are doing. Why they are committing this fraud? That is it. They have another job because they are, based on the story, they are reservists, military reservists or army reservists, and they are working, yet they are still stealing, because if these people are in the police service, they actually have a salary that they earn at the end of the month. However, I'm going back to that Christopher O'Connor, that guy. I think I don't know what happened with that guy, because my concern is all of these guys have another work they are doing, because they are not serving the military on the. They only come for one service or the other, or for training. And if that is the case, you don't expect them to do what they are doing. I'm very sure that somebody initiated this fraud, somebody within, or that supervisor, which is the I think is that the pay technician or whatever it's called, the Christopher guy. I'm guessing is the one that initiated this fraud, and I taught people how to do it, and they are doing it well. That's my guess. It's just my guess, anyway.
Makes me wonder if somebody got in trouble for something else and said, "Hey, I got something better for you. Cut me a deal." Because otherwise, I didn't find anything. I don't know if either of you found out how they got caught.
Yeah,
No.
I tried to find it and I couldn't find how they got caught. I'm going to have to start keeping track of a lot of these stories to follow up, and then we can do follow-up episodes. But yeah, Matthew says the three-way match should include evidence that the services were rendered before AP pays. Exactly. But it looks like the collusion with the supervisor was signing off, so AP would process. Yeah, and I think AP does what a lot of AP departments do. They said, I see the signature, I'm going to approve it. And that's just sad. So now, here's what I want to do now. I said that I'd give away a copy of the book, so we're at about the 31-minute mark in today's episode. So let us do the giveaway. Let's do the giveaway. So we've got a few entries here. I'm just gonna click the draw button and automatically,
Magically.
we're gonna have a winner here.
Yeah, I like that.
While you're having that go, Robert, if anybody has concerns about these AP things, there are AP products out there.
Okay, Richard.
So,
Sorry.
Richard, if you would like a copy of my book, Ask Better Questions, Get Better Answers, Perform Better Audits, just drop me a mailing address. You can send it through LinkedIn and it'll be on its way. And you know what? Wait a minute. Before we go a step further, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I've got to show this comment. Wait a minute. My man Mike says, it's a great book. Good luck entrance. You're in for a treat. So Mike is saying my book, Ask Better Questions, Get Better Answers, Perform Better Audits, is a great book. So now I got something to clip. Thank you, Mike. They're saying congratulations to Richard. Richard is saying sweet. And Emily, where's that comment? Emily is saying this is great. Now, Emily, you've read the book too, haven't you? What do you think about it? All right.
I was going to put in a quick plug because I think this would have been one control. There's a lot of AP softwares out there. If somebody submits something, it double checks it against your invoice.
Ooh.
So if somebody would enter in the wrong amount, it doesn't match, dates don't match, it kicks that back out for a manual override on AP. If anybody is thinking about their processes and their organizations, there are some products out there in AP, like submissions, Concur, stuff like that. So just sorry, thought I'd sneak that in there.
No, that is very true. There's lots of software. There's things that you can do with data analytics to try and catch AP fraud. So yeah, I think most of us as organizations need to actually do better because there are a lot of tools out there that can help us out. There are a lot of tools out there that can help us out. Now, oh, well, wait a minute. Now, Emily is saying a swag request for my store, a shirt, always auditing. Emily, you got it. You will have it by Sunday. You will see that up in the store. By the way, go to my store at thatauditguy.com and you can get your hats, your mugs, anything. I have I Love Audit hats and shirts. I have awesome auditor shirts. And as you can see, I take special requests. Why? Because, well, I think auditors are awesome and I want to have awesome gear for us. Now, Clarence says, Ask Better Questions, Get Better Answers, Perform Better Audits is an outstanding book. Look at that.
Did you not know I had a copy?
I think I did, but the element of surprise, the shock and awe on my face, it made for good showmanship on camera, right? No, I'm just kidding. Oh,
look at that.
boy.
Easy read, ladies and gentlemen, with a lot of good content.
You know, I didn't think an audit book should be like 500 pages. Let's get straight to the point, like our audit report should be thin, short, and directly to the point. But you know what? While I have everyone here, I want to go back and invite you again to the next episodes of Audit Bites, October the 10th. Stop auditing after the fact. October the 24th, board governance gone wrong. You're going to love that one. November the 7th, sorry. November the 7th, why communication skills are important for auditors. If you want to be there live, we do it live on LinkedIn and on YouTube, and you can go to auditbytes.com. We will start streaming directly from my website starting in October. See, exciting stuff, right?
Right.
Now, again, I'm live on location. You guys just saw Joe pop in. We do training at conferences. I do keynote speeches at conferences. So for you IIA chapters listening, give me a call. We can fulfill many of your training needs.
And sign up for alerts on Rob's LinkedIn podcast. So I do get an alert whenever he starts one of his podcasts on LinkedIn.
Oh, you do? That is pretty awesome. So, all right, friends, the last two things I want to say. If you want to be a guest host like Christine and Alaba, we lost him. Let me know, because I think what this does for us as auditors, it helps build our communication skills. It helps get our name out there, and it helps us to really find other auditors that we can build this community where we start to collaborate and communicate with one another. So if you see any interesting stories, send them my way. If you want to be a guest host, we're rotating guest hosts, because this is just fun. Christine, don't you have fun?
I do. I really like getting called in when you need some help, because I'm always like, oh, I can be available on a Friday. But I think my schedule can be a little bit more forgiving than others at times, because I don't do consulting. I don't do that. But I really enjoy it. So I really encourage any of you out there that have been participating in the comments, giving great feedback, go out on that limb, reach out to Robert. You will not regret it. It'll get your critical thinking up in a fast pace, talking about the subjects live, and also help you with your research. And you get to know what the story is ahead of time. So it's a win-win-win.
You know who we're going to get on next, though?
Who? Emily?
And he's going to be mad at me.
Richard?
Clarence.
Yes. I think two good choices. Well, I think everybody is a good choice. I love reading the comments. Everybody's got really good feedback.
Yeah. We're going to get Clarence and Emily on. And you know what? I didn't even ask their permission, so I just kind of threw that out there. So if I get an ugly email from them, oh, you know what? You know who else we're going to get on?
Who? You know what? In fact, I think what I'm going to reach out to those three and connect. Anybody else that's out there, do not be afraid to connect with others in the group. I think it's a great way. I mean, I would have never met Rob or Kelly or Joe, if it wouldn't have been for LinkedIn, if it wouldn't have been them introducing me to Rob's podcast. I got to meet Joe in real life. I got Joe's books. I got Kelly's books. I got Rob's books. And they're really, really great resources. So reach out.
I'm going to read this comment, and I guess that's how I'm going to end the show, because what better way to end it? Mike Hurst says, Robert, the work you do to create an IA community is so meaningful and helpful to use in the trenches. Thank you. Thank you all for putting up with me every week. Clarence says, when I'm free, I will be glad to join, and thank you. I didn't have to twist his arm.
See?
You know what? I keep saying this is the last thing I'm going to say, but this might be the last thing I'm going to say. For any of you educators who actually teach internal audit in college, like Emily does, you should probably get your students to watch some of these episodes, because I think that that's very helpful as well. You should get some of your students to watch some of these episodes. Now, Alaba's trying to come back in, but yeah, you should get some of your students to watch some of these episodes. Real soon, look for more CPE coming based on these episodes. You'll be able to purchase that on my website. and with some other providers. So with that said, anything else, Christine?
No. Thanks for having me on again today.
Nothing else from me either. We'll see you guys at the next Audit Bites episode and at the next Friday Fraudster episode. Thank you for joining us. Everybody, have a good weekend.